Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, we're going Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk a little bit about news, history, information, media. Before I go anywhere with this conversation, I want to start off with history. Everybody knows that history isn't necessarily true. History is written by the winners, and also it's information that people tend to agree on. As decades pass, information changes pretty quick. And one of the parallels I will bring you to very quickly is the War of 1812. I think it is. Man, it's been a long time since I was in grade 5. Anyways, Canada was fighting America. And in Canada, I was taught that we repelled the Americans. In America, I had an American friend get out a textbook and show me the end of it. And she said, her textbook said that in the end, we won Canada, but we did not get Canada. Okay, that's two very conflicting sources of information that is being taught in schools that aren't private, that are run directly by the government, and this is information that is incorrect, or at least has different views on different sides. So blam, there, we have been taught incorrect information, or at least one of us was taught incorrect information. What I want to bring to you is the idea that everybody thinks all news is right all the time, that they are a pillar for virtue, and that they will stand there and give you the news because that's what they do and they're supposed to, so that's how it's going to go because that's how the news goes. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's not quite the case. News media are outlets that are there to sell advertisements. Maybe there was a time back in the day in the 70s and beforehand that the media liked to be good people and report the middle of the road kind of information, what's going on. But that's not what's going on anymore. In my heart, I want to say that back in the day, if you had a news system that was feeding BS, then they were just the bad ones. Then they were just the bad ones. But these days, I'm having a hard time figuring out which are the good ones. And I mean, everyone has their own things that they go to, but no one actually checks to see how they are. Up here in Canada, I get the Sun, Globe and Mail, National Press, Toronto Star. Like we got our own. And I tend to go for the Globe and Mail. But man, if you look at the Sun, if you look at everybody's got the Sun everywhere, right? It's all opinion. It's all opinion. Well, at least these days, whenever I'm flipping through that, it's all opinion. And we can tell pretty quick that opinion isn't news. For a while, though, in Canada, they weren't showing you the difference between the news and opinion. They didn't have that information under the pictures. That place was just left blank. And that's a little bit unfortunate. That's a little bit unfortunate. We do have a lot of people that confuse news and articles also. Do you know that there's a difference between a report and an article? I just realized this within the last few years. A report is somewhat higher standard, but an article is basically opinion. It's just some information, maybe half-baked, not even checked. And I bet most people don't even know when they're reading an article or hearing a piece of news that is an article. So the reason why I'm concerned about this is that, man, we're definitely in a state. Not only is technology exploding madly off in all directions, but now culture is. Culture has hijacked technology, or has technology hijacked culture? And they're taking it forward, and they're taking it with their virtue. They're taking it with their social justice, with their virtue signals. The virtue signalers have come out like crazy in Twitter. And in the news, you hear about Twitter. I don't want to hear about Twitter in the news. That's like hearing about the National Post, I think it was. I can't remember. Bat Boy found in cave. These articles you just absolutely wouldn't believe, and you knew they were BS. You didn't give them any information. There's so much going on in there. So much going on. Okay, society. Let's talk about society. So society is basically about individuals who have generally the same beliefs and whatnot, but you got to try your beliefs against each other, and people don't like to try their beliefs against each other these days. Or what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to get out there and we're supposed to take our ideas and try them against one another, and the better one, hey, they're good, and the loser, you'll come back with something else. But these days, man, it's like if you're wrong, you're dead. You can't be friends anymore. You can't, it's like, and if you don't agree with me, we can't be friends, or at least that's the way it seems to me, and it's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. And the virtue signaling went all the way to the top in Canada. It actually went into universities, and we had a problem with it. I don't think we have it anymore, but we definitely had a problem with everyone, with all the universities being very just way too far left. Cancel culture came in, and then all of a sudden information wasn't allowed to get out because it offended people, and because it offended people, it got shut down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real world. If you get offended by facts, geez, you're going to have a hard time out there in the real world. And if we as a culture are going to let everything get shut down because of people getting offended, guys, being offended, this isn't a practical application. This isn't a thing. You can't be like, this is offended. You can say like, okay, this is a lighter. This is also a lighter. This isn't a lighter, this is a frickin' toy. So if we were all going to get offended by outrage culture and whatnot, hey, let me get in on it. I'm an internet person. I live in my basement. People make fun of me. How about this? If they start making fun of me because I like to live in my basement, how about we all get together and make fun of them and kick them out of our clubs, right? No, 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 no. It's only very exclusive to very certain people that are backed up by very certain corporations. Not corporations, but individuals, groups. And in this, we start getting information, news coming out that's wrong. We have so much news coming out. Oh, I should have checked this one out before I came in, but if you haven't heard about this, then you don't get an opinion on it. In the States, this, what I'm about to tell you I'm talking about. In the States, there was an individual. There were 3 groups of people, and it was a group coming to see. I'm pretty sure it was to see Washington. Everybody had the Make America Great hats again, because that's what these kids do when they go to Washington. If it was Obama, they'd have Obama hats. Those Make America Great again. Anyways, these kids start fighting with these black, what were they? This is so funny. With these black, what were they? Jews, black Jews, I believe it was. Maybe it was Muslims. Anyways, black religious group, and they were all at this public place, and these guys were making fun. Like these guys, the black religious people were making fun of the white kids, and they were kind of yelling at the white kids, and they start yelling back and forth, and this native guy comes in, and he's beating the drum. He's beating the drum to try to bring peace, but he's being very aggressive in bringing peace. He's going right up to these kids' faces, beating the drum, and one kid, a lot of kids backed away. One kid just stood there with a smile on his face. He wasn't going to move, but that native guy was right in his face. Right in his face. The media caught this. The media caught this. And what did they say? They said that white kid was standing against the native guy. The white kid was against the native guy and going to take this native guy down with this Make America Great hat again. And Twitter came out against him. Everyone hated this. Kathy Newman, I think her name was, like, we demand information. Give me docs. Give me information. And at this point, the people on the left, the people who are supposed to be good people, the people that are supposed to be reasonable, become the same as Old Fag on 4chan. Old Fag has been on 4chan for a very long time, and he is a very not a good person, and you do not want him to have your information. And this is a situation, the first time where I've seen the people on the left becoming the people that they hate. They have become the monsters they fight against. But the thing about fighting the monsters that you have to fight is that once you're done fighting them, you don't be those monsters anymore because you're better than them. But in this case, that wasn't it. Look up white kid, Make America Great again, native drummer, and you'll find the story. And you will see that the people on the left got some little bit of information and they went out for blood, which is unreasonable. It's, man, you know, if I did that, if Reddit did that, we would never forget that stuff. But I'm talking to people on the left these days, and they have no idea what happened. They've like, I've never heard of this stuff, though. We're good all the time. We've never done anything bad. We never do anything like that. But at the same time, this is part of the information wars. This is part of the culture wars. Man, we're almost getting into sex wars now, too. But seriously, the media companies that we have out there aren't here to be in the middle of the road. They're not here to give you the full story. They're not here to not give you an opinion. They are here to sell advertisements. They are here to give you your opinion that you like, because you will watch the news that gives you your opinion, or the opinion that you and people around you have, because we're too freaking stupid to be able to look anywhere else for information. We just want the good stuff. We just want the good stuff. So we've got so much stuff going on out there. So much stuff going on out there that really upsets me, like the Jeffrey Epstein, the Me Too movement. Not particularly the Me Too movement, but particularly the part that gets me is the guy that ended up triggering it. more or less. So I talked to some people about this, and they're like, whoa, 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 Nevin, you have too much access to the news. And I tell them, no, I don't. This is information that everybody should have. This is information that everybody should be looking into. The Jeffrey Epstein thing, if there's something going on at the highest levels of government, at the highest level of society. So in society, you always get your pyramids, right? The bourgeoisie in the middle, the proletarians at the bottom, the royalty at the top. As the bourgeoisie, as the proletarians, it's up to us to make sure that the royalty and the bourgeoisie are acting nice. Do you really want to live in a place where the people running you are pedophiles? Because sometimes that'll happen if you don't stop, look, and listen. So guys, stop telling me I got way too much access to the internet, because you don't have frickin' enough. And then I talk to other people that say this is just the way things are. It's always been this way. Just live with it. And I can't live with that. I just can't live with that, because it's making abominations out of all of us. If we turn our heads to stuff like this, then okay, and like right now, I hear you. I got friends out there like, Nevin, this is too much. And I'm telling you that if we don't work together as reasonable people to make sure that unreasonable things don't get done, we are bad people, okay? Bad people. This Jeff Epstein thing, everybody freaking knew about it. Jeff Epstein, more or less a pedophile, had a lot of money, had an island, pedophile island, helped out a lot of people. Clinton, Prince, someone or other across the pond. The names escape me right now, but we have situations going on like this where we have way too much issues going on at the top, and we need to change it. And this isn't just an American issue. Okay, so one of the biggest things with Jeff Epstein is his pedophile island wasn't taken down properly. They were supposed to prosecute him under the Mann Act, and since they didn't, all of his stuff got they erased it. There's no information. They should have prosecuted him under the Mann Act, but they failed to. He didn't kill himself. People say he killed him. Everyone's like, oh yeah, pedophiles, they all get, you don't want to know what happens. Everybody knows what happens to pedophiles in jail, people. Come on, like, seriously, this is 2020 almost. We all frickin' know what happens. But they had this guy under suicide watch with two people that were supposed to be watching him. The two guards had a nap, the camera breaks, and the guy ends up dead. They say he killed himself, but some people, some professionals who have jobs doing autopsies are seeing this information, not all the information, but the pertinent information, and saying that all the information hasn't been released, and saying that this guy was killed. So let's say he did kill himself. What are the odds that the two police officers would be asleep, that the camera would be off, and his cellmate didn't notice anything? What are the frickin' odds? Seriously, what are the odds? And then I get some people once again telling me that this stuff just happens and we have to live with it. No, maybe it happens, but we don't have to live with it. If we choose to live with it, do you think that this is the kind of stuff we should be able to choose to live with? Anyways, the Me Too movement, as it keeps moving on, you find out things like Kesha, who was one of the first people to really get on the Me Too movement. It turns out that she was doing stuff that was pretty sketchy too. Like, she wouldn't let guys on tour buses unless she got to take a picture of their cocks, because the women rule this place. That sounds like exactly what Jeff Epstein was doing to her. I'm not saying it was right, but I'm saying that they knew about it and they might have waited a little bit too long. And if this is the way that things work, that's another crazy thing. Frickin' Hollywood. There was a time that if you weren't a Scientologist, you were going to have a hard time. And there's a time that if you didn't put out a little bit, apparently, that you're going to have a hard time. Does that seem like a reasonable society? Does that seem like a good place for people to work? So, InfoWars. Information wars. There's so much information out there, it's hard for people to absorb. And when I try to bring the pertinent information to a lot of people, they just tell me, oh, I don't subscribe to that. But if they want to argue with me, it doesn't matter your facts. It matters your feelings. Facts and feelings are two very different things. Sometimes facts will hurt your feelings, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be okay with that. We have to take these facts and deal with it like our forefathers had to in the past. Horrible facts that if you didn't stop moving people around while a pandemic was going on, that everyone was going to get a flu. But hey, we don't care about those facts. We wanna ship those people off to war and send this pandemic all over the frickin' world. It's just information wars. Rex Murphy was talking to Jordan Peterson. Rex Murphy was talking to Jordan Peterson, and he flat out said, Rex Murphy, and if you don't know who Rex Murphy is and you're a Canadian, you don't have an opinion on news, okay? Seriously, this guy's been frickin' everywhere, and he has reasonable information. Rex Murphy said to Jordan Peterson that news isn't what it was. Nobody's in the middle of the road. Nobody's just trying to give you the information. Everyone is just trying to get everyone on their side for views. People are trying to virtue signal, and virtue signaling is getting to be a horrible, horrible thing. Cancer, ladies and gentlemen, is too much of a good thing. You get a gene that tells you to build a little extra and not stop. Too much of a good thing. Too much flesh, too much bone, all in the same place. These virtue signalers, too much. These Twitter people, too much. But what's worse is that we're frickin' listening to them. We're listening to them. Why do we listen to these people? Seriously. Why do we listen to these people? Twitter doesn't even give us enough space to have a full conversation, to have a full reasonable conversation about political, geopolitical things going on. And so if you think you can take discussions, geopolitical discussions, if you think you can take those and have them all on Twitter, you're frickin' nuts. You're frickin' nuts. Anyways, I want you to consider these things as time goes on. We have a hard push to the left. And with it, it's bringing new things to the surface, like social justice warriors, virtue signalers, and Antifa. Hopefully soon we won't need Antifa. Hopefully soon, actually, you know what? These new Antifa people, and if you don't know what Antifa is, hold on to your hats, Grandma. You're going to see some shit. You know how these climate protesters are pissing everybody off by shutting down roads and stuff? If you didn't see that coming, you're blind, deaf, and frickin' stupid. Seriously. It's going to get worse. And we got to have good information going forward. We got to have good information, ladies and gentlemen. Because without good information, without true information, we're a little pack of liars and thieves. But past that, why is it that the media is based off advertisements when I pay to get this stuff brought to me? Why is it that these newspapers have advertisements in them if I pay for them? And I hope it brings up the quality. That's all I can say. Anyways, thanks for listening to my rants. That's it from me, Nev from Nev's Tech. But like and subscribe if you like this stuff. Always appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. But more importantly than that, take care of each other. Even if you're each other believe slightly different things, we all believe in democracy for the most part. Let's make it great again. Let's keep it great. Let's keep it great and be progressive. That's it for me. Have a good one, folks. Catch you later.